think we've seen this has really proved out that America has been dumbed down to such a level that even surprisingly conservative pastors are obeying anything that they're told to do, whether it's unlawful, unenforceable, unbiblical, unconstitutional. It seems like most American pastors and even global pastors, but it's especially in America where we have the freedom, and the Constitution to protect those freedoms. We have pastors going along. What do you make of that?
Well, that's again, from studying what's gone on for the last 100+ years carefully, you realize one of the top communist leaders in America back in the 1950s, he defected. He had helped start the Communist Party USA, and he defected from it because he saw Stalin had just slaughtered 20 million of their own people. He realized, wait a minute, this is not what I thought it was. So he leaves the Communist Party as one of the leaders of it in America, and Congress interviews him then. He goes before the Un-American Activities Committee in Congress, and they say, what have you all been doing? And he said this, and I am a Christian, so it really was powerful to me. He said, with so few loyalists and members here in America, we realized our number one enemy was the church. And we, since the 1930s, have been focused on going into the seminaries, getting our degrees, and then staying on as the professors in the divinity schools and everything, because we knew if we can be the ones teaching the pastors, we can get control of the church and use it to our advantage. I mean, Lenin himself said this: the best way to control the opposition is to lead it ourselves. Think about that. Think of that's what he said. He was a master strategist. The best way to
control the opposition.
The best way to control the opposition is to lead it ourselves. So what are they about? They're about infiltration and subversion from within. Whatever it is, they see something that's a threat to them, you go infiltrate it, come up in it, and use it to your advantage. And that's what we see that's happened all over America and all our institutions. But that's why that's happening in the church, because those seminaries have been so watered down to be emotional, to be just wanting to be accepted by the culture, wanting to do things the world's way, but act like it's the way Jesus would do it. And so they've been doing that. So that's why the church is so pathetic today. And so few pastors say, I'm sorry, but it's outside of your jurisdiction to be able to tell us we cannot worship God like even our, the First Amendment says, but even if there wasn't a First Amendment, it's our duty before God.
Right.
We cannot shirk it no matter what. We must do it. But yeah, 90+% of the pastors, we better not disobey that. So they're obeying man rather than God, which shows how bad the seminaries have been watered down.
Yeah, they've embraced cancel culture and wokeism and Black Lives Matter. It's unbelievable, and in clear defiance of Scripture.
That's right. Well, they sense I grew up in the evangelical church, and so I remember seeing it change in the 70s, 80s, 90s, where it just kept sliding to the left and started to be more of a feel-good thing, a do-gooders club, and the Bible and the hard preaching stuff just slowly disappeared more and more, and they were just wanting to appeal to the world. It's like that was the point. Oh, we just want lost people to come in. Well, that's not the point of the church. It's great if they come in, but the church is to feed the sheep.
Right.
So they know what to do, and then they go out into the world and share the gospel and be kind one to another and love their neighbor and all those things that then makes people attracted to Christianity. Once they want to come to church, but a pastor should not be preaching to lost people in the church. It's to the saved people so they can grow and be mature and be ready to go out and be a bright light in this dark world.
Yeah, and in that way, the church is not only empowered, but then the world sees a powerful church. They see, people with courage, people that are willing to stand amidst adversity, and they're drawn to that, like we've seen with Calvary Chapel in San Jose.
Exactly. And you see strong families.
Yeah.
And so you realize, why are they different? Yeah, the church, where if all the families are falling apart in the church and outside the church, people go, Jesus doesn't make any difference at all.
Right.
I mean, your life's just as big a mess as mine. We're supposed to be different, but we haven't been getting the leadership and the shepherding that God intended the pastors to provide to the sheep. And so they're pretty much doing things exactly the same as the world, but I'm a Christian. And we're like, you don't look like one, you don't act like one, you have no you have the same standards as the world, you do things exactly the same. And we can't do that because that makes Jesus look bad.
Mm-hmm.
Because then they're like, he doesn't make any difference.
Mm-hmm.
Your life's a bigger mess than mine. And that's a tragedy.